Hey, hola, ¿cómo estás? Welcome to the video. I'm just playing.
Alright.
If I knew how to keep on speaking, I would have kept on doing it. Like, we're showing the tools today. I would do it instead. It's not a job. So.
That's my twisted pleasure. I got everything you need. Choosing me is for the better. Started off with a 2x4. A couple.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Jay, and this is
The Twisted Builder. And
we are doing just a little video at the job site. A job site video. Pow! Put it on the screen. Okay, but for real, we're doing just a general tools video about what you should have around the house, or if you're just getting started and doing stuff like this.
Yeah, actually, my daughter called me. My daughter Dorian, who I'm finding to be amazingly handy, has already fixed the washing machine and the window in her car door. So she called me and said, "Dad, you need to do a video on general stuff that we would want to have, tools around the house, so we understand what we need." So they've been left with a wealth of tools and things to work with, but they don't know what all of them do. So today is about just the general household tools and things I would recommend if you're just starting out as a young man or as a young woman, or if you bought a house. This is stuff I would suggest you just have in your toolbox. And I'll explain the difference between, some of the stuff is similar, but I'll explain the reasons why. And but this is for you, Dory Bub.
Yes.
All right.
Shout out to Dorian.
There you go. So, let's start with the basics, right? So let's talk hammers and tape. Let's start with the basic hand tools. For almost every project you're going to get into in the house, whether you're measuring curtains or blinds or anything like that, you're going to end up needing a tape measure. Here I have a couple different kinds of tape measures, and as kind of a running example of how I like to describe quality tape measures is here you have a Craftsman brand, and here you have a Lufkin brand. The brand,
Close up.
What's that?
Close up real quick.
Well, maybe. There you go. Anyway, yeah, we'll show you these products or something. Yeah. But anyway, even though the brand name for Craftsman might be a little bit better, one of the things that we happened to notice was that the flexibility of the tape, your break fall, like by the time your tape gets out so far, like here your break falls at like 6 foot, where when we're using this tape, we can nearly go 14 foot. So it's a lot better if you're trying to stretch a room, or if you're trying to measure something tall. It's a much stiffer, more rigid tape, and it has a much bigger cup on it here, and that's what gives it its rigidity.
He was just at 12 foot when he was doing that without Lufkin. He was at 12 foot out there, while mine was at 75 inches.
We ran about to the corner, and I ran out of space. Yeah. Sorry about that. But anyway, so this is a tape measure. Chalk line. Every person, whenever you're doing any type of marking, anything at the house or job site or anywhere, a chalk line is an important tool. It allows you to create a straight line between 2 points, but it also can act as a plumb bob. So you can hang a chalk line from a certain point, and when it sets up straight, it is perfectly plumb, up and down. So that we know that is perfectly up and down. Okay? So those are things you can use a plumb bob for. Been around for centuries. The string line with a weight on it. Then you have pry bars, different pry bars here. I suggest you have. This is a flat pry bar. This is great for your everyday stuff. This is called a cat's claw. This is designed to dig down into the face of wood and just get the nail, the head of the nail, so that when you get it out, you create very little damage to whatever it is you're working on, and you have less chance of cracking the wood when you pry out with the pry bar. by removing the nails before you remove the wood, then you have less chance of cracking the wood.
I just want to say that the cat's paw is a lifesaver for me because I struggle with the nail gun sometimes. So if I hold it at an angle, or if I don't hit the stud just right, then that cat's paw is a really good thing to have just to dig out the nail and do it again without damaging the wood too much.
Absolutely. Then we're just general around the house cutting tools. A pair of Dikes is really good. You may end up having to cut up some wires, some string lines, anything. A good pair of Dikes or like angled cutter. So another basic, we got to have a speed square. This is all kind of basic stuff. I would have one of these at the house in case you have to mark a straight line. This can also be used when on the 2x4 to actually guide your saw as you're actually moving, and it gives you a much more accurate cut than if you were to draw the line and then try to do the saw accurately. A set of Allen wrenches, both metric and standard, would be something. You're going to run into all kinds of stuff around the house that needs these. I would keep a chisel on hand. A lot of times you end up with situations where you have to, just knock away just a little bit of wood for whatever reason. This is a good handy tool to have. Obviously our hammer. Several different kinds of hammers. For ladies, the lighter the hammer, the better for your wrist, but the more times you're going to have to whack it. A weighted hammer is better for somebody that's in the profession or planning to go into the profession. So around the 20 to 22 inch hammer is probably better. Also, they come with different types of faces. So this one's a smooth face. You would use this for finish nailing or everyday nailing, but there are some with a waffle head on them, and those are used for framing and because they grip and grab hold of the nail. Okay? A 5-in-1 tool. This is a really important tool. This can be used for not only scraping, it can also be used to pull the occasional nail if you're working in, painting a room. Many times they have a little screwdriver attached to the end of them. I think mine might be actually painted in there at this point. Many years of use, but they do have them. And also the curved part of this can be used to actually squish the paint off of the paint roller. As you go to clean the paint roller, you can use this down the paint roller, and it will push most of the paint back in the paint bucket before you make a big mess or waste a lot of paint in the sink. Also, electrical tester, very, very important. Make sure you have an electrical tester so that you can have someone partner with you, go to the breakers, shut electric off before you work on it. Another pair of alignments, pliers, or Dikes. A multi-purpose screwdriver. This is important. This is something that can be a Phillips, a flathead, a star bit, any of the other possible screwdrivers. A multi-purpose screwdriver is a must-have in every house. A couple of good pairs of channel locks. Big ones and little ones are very, very important. Jay, actually grab me the pipe wrench out of the plumbing box too. I'm going to move on to saw while Jay grabs this pipe wrench. I want to show you guys that too. That's kind of important to have in our boxes for just for everyday plumbing stuff. If some pipe breaks or you need to tighten or loosen something, these are great to have. In the meantime, these are 2 saws. I recommend a cordless saw if you can afford one, a battery operated saw. There's some really good brands out there and they have good life and good power. But if you're stuck still using cords like I am, just because I've had these saws forever and I love them and I don't want to get rid of them. And I'm weird like that. This is my little 6.5-inch saw. This is a much smaller saw. This would be great for a handy toolbox. This is probably a more professional grade one, but one of the advantages to the worm drive saw is that it gets more torque, more power, better cutting, larger plate surface, and it kind of helps with the way that it runs. It allows you to get across the sheet better when you have the longer end of the saw. All right, and then I've got this, I got a pouch here. So a pouch is an important thing to have. Whether you're working around the house, just maybe keep all your tools organized. A light, a safety security light. This is a very important item to have. Whether things are break down around the house, you need to get underneath the sink, or if the power goes out, having your battery, having some lights, and having things in backup is a good option. Is a smart way to be prepared. They have these really affordable LED lights now that can be used to really brighten up spaces when you're painting or working anywhere and everywhere. These are also great and handy to have. And probably my final, and I would say the most important tool I think that you should have starting coming up, if you don't want to get any of these other tools, or specifically the saws, and you're just trying to get through the tiniest little projects, these little multi-tools here are absolutely amazing. They have an oscillating blade that just kind of shakes back and forth, and it's very, very safe. There's very little chance you're going to get cut on this.